Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? I don't usually do dreams videos, but I got a suggestion to um, go ahead and do a tutorial on how I did this position. As you can see, it displays the position of the player, and yes, it updates. Trust me, this will work all of the time. And I use this in my Little Big Planet coding game. I'm going to show you today how to do this. So I'm going to assume that you already have like all the needed things like moving around and like enemy logic and all that stuff. So this is going to be purely focused on the positioning system. And the reason why I did this arrow is because I'm going to assume that this is the way the enemies are moving. Like this is the way the track is going. So let's get started. First and foremost, and the most important part about all of this is make another microchip and scope it in to whatever you're building. This is crucial. Scope it in, right? Scope it in. Don't just simply attach it. This is not gonna work if you just attach it. It has to be scoped in like this. Okay, you see this gray area has to be scoped in. And we're gonna add 2 trigger zones. Okay, we're gonna call them front, back. Now make sure that both of these trigger zones are cubes. Right, that will make actually things a lot easier. And we're gonna edit them one at a time. So we're gonna select the front one. Now, the way how Dreams works is it calculates per frame. So if you want to minimize bugs, you want to have these trigger zones as big as possible. But obviously not too big. It's not like they have to be pretty decent size. All right. So we're gonna add a trigger zone that's right about here. We're gonna leave off a little bit here for the back, but it's gonna mainly cover. The purpose of this trigger zone is for it to mainly cover the front. We're gonna make it like 0.8 or something like that. All right, right about here. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing, but this time it's gonna be for the back. So I'm gonna call this the back. We want both of them to detect the same thing, which is gonna be cart. Which is gonna be cart. It can be anything. It can be player. It can be cart. But the reason I'm using cart is it's generics because, and it's that's the reason I'm using cart is because it's generic. It's not an enemy. It's not a player. It's just generic. It's just an object. That's why I'm using the cart. So back. We want to do the same thing. Just leave a little bit space up front, okay? Now, you want to make sure that these two are intersecting, like mine ones. Yeah, my ones are intersecting. Intersection is pretty small, but again, if you're having problems, just play around with these trigger zones. That's where most of the problems will be. Next, you want to add 2 signal manipulators. Alright, and connect the trigger zones to the signal manipulators. Then connect the output of one signal manipulator into the freeze output and vice versa. Next, add 2 AND gates. Connect the first signal manipulator into A of one of the AND gates, and the back into B of the same AND gate, and then the second signal manipulator into A of the second AND gate, and front card into B of the second AND gate, like this. So basically what this will mean is that if we are at the front first, and then we are at the back, so when we pass someone, it's going to decrease our position. So let's add a variable. Alright, and let's add a variable modifier. I'm going to set the first one to be to add a negative value. Alright, connect the top AND gate into this variable modifier, and we're gonna change this into +1, alright, because we're increasing in position. Next up, we're gonna change the variable name. We're gonna call it something like player position or player display. That's what I call it. And make sure that the position of the what's displayed in the variable is the current position of the player. So since the track is going this way, that's why I put the arrow. This guy is third. And make sure that to rename the variable modifier, alright, it's the same thing. Position display and position display. Now one more thing is you want to highlight these two things and make it so it's not here. Okay, we're gonna be no. You want to highlight these two and make them both here. Alright, in this local variable. Now with these two trigger zones, we actually want them to detect anything that is not here. That is the most important thing, and I think we're done. I think this is it. Just add a tag. Alright, so we called it cart, so this is gonna be called cart as well. So again, make sure this is scoped in. Alright, double check every time you clone it. Every time you clone this, for some reason it just likes to scope out. So every time you clone the microchip, just scope it back in. Alright, or else this is not gonna work. Okay, and let's tweak their default position. So this guy is first, so this guy is gonna be number 1. This guy is gonna be second, so he is gonna be number 2. Alright, so let's see if this works. Okay, so we are driving, the enemy is passing by us. And as you can see, our position has updated. It has changed to number 4 because we're no longer in front. We're at the back. And this guy's position has updated to number 3 because he's in front of us. Now let's say he's passing up another guy. This guy is now 3, this guy is now 2. This guy is first, that guy is, he's not supposed to be first. I think I know what's the problem. I think the zone is just simply... the zone is off. Yeah, that must be the problem. The zone was just not positioned. Yeah, I'm telling you, if something is not gonna work, it's probably because of these zones. So always check these zones. Okay, zones are in the right, should be in the right place. Yep, they are in the right place. So now everything should be working fine. So whenever, for example, this guy passes, the zones are pretty small, so they have to be fairly close together. Again, you can probably increase the x-axis in case your track is wider, but this gets the point across, right? This is how you do the positioning system. So you just hook them up like this, okay? Into the number displayer. Boom. Alright. Bye-bye.